Hello, Army of Light, Earth Division, the boots on the ground. It is Shawna L. and today is July 16th, 2024. Thanks everybody for being here, for joining for my very first Talk About the Bible, Decoding the Living Word. It's more of an introduction from Melchizedek today. Welcome, welcome, welcome if you've stumbled upon this because of the content here, talking about the Bible in the context of today's ascension process that's underway for humanity and for Mother Earth. Also, tying in the negative reptilian aspect of our existence here that predates the Bible by thousands and thousands of years. I love, love, love that our guides here on this channel are going in this direction. Believe me, I'm extremely nervous also because I actually don't know much about the Bible. I've read passages here and there. I had a copy laying around. I'm not sure where it was. The Bible just really hasn't been a big part of my world. And the guides tell me that this is on purpose because they needed a clean slate from which to work here as we delve into the Bible, the mysteries of the Bible, decoding the Bible, talking about things that are controversial, things that need to be cleared up. A lot of things like going into Revelation here, the book of Revelation, and talking about how what is in the book of Revelation directly speaks to where we are at today in this modern age. So it's exciting for me. The guides talk about how we've been at this a long time. I've been a scribe of theirs for a long time. When I'm done going through the channeling from Melchizedek today, I want to tell you about a past life that I had with Melchizedek doing similar types of work. They told me about this here a few weeks ago, and I'm ready to share this with all of you. So exciting times here. We're pivoting. So thank you, everybody who has been here for years now. I think we're going to be bringing in a lot of new people with this subject matter, and I think we're going to see some fireworks. I want to just say, let's put everything that we've learned from these beautiful guides over the last 4 years and from other guides besides Melchizedek, put into action all these beautiful things in terms of how we treat each other and the respect and compassion that we have and infinite unconditional love for our brothers and sisters here on this journey of learning, knowing that each of us are in lesson and we're all at different places in terms of our evolution and our levels of consciousness, and just having just absolute compassion for everyone out there. There's no doubt that the talk about the Bible, concepts in the Bible, the very basic fabric of what we believe life to be, including God. All of these things are going to be topics of discussion here on this channel for the foreseeable future. Many, many months, Melchizedek says. So for some of you who, the Bible's not your thing, you don't really care, it's not a big deal, maybe you check out, maybe this is something that you're not going to be interested in. Or maybe right away with today's opening words from Melchizedek, this is going to be something where you're like, no, thank you, this is not the place for me right now. I don't really care to dive into this, or I have deeply rooted beliefs from childhood, from going to church, or from parents, or from whatever, personal experiences where you feel like you've got a good handle on scripture and you just don't want to be adding any new interpretations. I mean, I completely respect that. I'm I'm just really so unqualified to be talking about the Bible. This will all be Melchizedek. This will be channeled information. So let's just be very respectful in the comments, everybody. And we'll see what happens here. Just so you know, July 31st, 2020 was my first public video on this channel. So it's been nearly 4 years, shy of a couple of weeks here, 4 years of this channel. 4 years, team, and I've made a little over 400 videos for this channel. So I want to just, for everybody who's new here, just to provide some context about who and what I am here and who and what Melchizedek are. So I'm a conscious channel, and in the last year or so, I've really become an embodied channel, sharing a consciousness with Melchizedek. Melchizedek, it's an order of a priesthood order who is actually mentioned in the Bible 10 times, including in Genesis, which we've just kind of started reading Genesis together. And if you research Melchizedek, there's quite a bit of information that will come up if you're interested, but they describe themselves as being metaphysical and spanning all dimensions. They are not part of the angelic realm. They're not ascended masters. They are not aliens. They're something different, guys. And they've been around a long time, since the beginning, since humanity first, started walking on this earth. Melchizedek has been here in spirit. A few of them, for just discussion's sake, imagine that there's about 12 of them, although I have felt into this consciousness, and it's really more so many tones, many frequencies. Really, to say there's 12 beings, it's really just more for our ability to kind of wrap our brains around this. But they are, in my opinion, they're about the closest to source that we can get in terms of being able to commune with them, partner with them, speak with them telepathically, energetically, work with them energetically through consciousness, that we can get on the planet right now. And it's such a complete honor to be working with them again. Many lifetimes I've worked with them, they tell me. Oh my goodness. So we'll get into this. So 400 videos, that's on average a video every 3.5 days for the last 4 years. It's an incredible body of work, starting with the Galactic Federation of Light, 100 days straight, channeling them live, like hitting the record button, channeling the GFL live. We went into the daily Ascension updates, where December of 2022, we really started switching gears to be talking about the negative reptilian regime. Really, only mentions of the reptilians up until that point. We pivoted. And then, January of 2023, bringing in Queen Elizabeth and really diving into the nuts and bolts of the negative reptilian regime in terms of this Windsor Mountbatten bloodline, the royal bloodlines, the monarchy bloodlines, and the satanic rituals, and the bloodletting, and all the horrific things that go on behind the scenes with this monarchy that is dying. This whole thing is crumbling, along with a lot of other things that are not for our highest good here, built out of fear and meant to control and manipulate the masses. So that happened. Really, Melchizedek has been the main guide here for me, channeling them the last 1.5 years or so pretty exclusively. The weekly briefings seem to be done, team. We are moving into this Bible series now, and they say it's going to be several months of this, so weekly briefings. So I hope you stick around. I hope you find it interesting. Certainly controversial things are going to come up, and we just need to be ready, be open, and let's see what happens. Consciousness is ready to be seated with this information. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about Trump and Biden also. Guys, we did something really incredible. We did something amazing here. We helped stop this plan by the negative reptilians to assassinate Joe Biden. And this is not about the merits of Joe Biden or the merits of Donald Trump or who's good or who's bad and who should be protected. This was all about thwarting a plan by the negative reptilians to inflict pain and suffering on humanity as a whole, on the globe, as many people as possible. This was the goal of Melchizedek when they came forward with this information and disclosed it to our group. Me coming out with that publicly, me working with Joe Biden as an angel, those 2 missions that I did, and then Melchizedek going public with this information through all of you and asking for your help in thwarting this plan. It worked. It actually worked. Now, I'll also say, a couple of things that happened, as a result of this, at least in terms of what Melchizedek has to say. And I'm not trying to convince you of anything, okay? Here's what was said. They said that Melchizedek said that the negative reptilians were extremely upset about this, coming forward with this plan, and they were not going to give us the satisfaction of being right with this prediction. So in order to show us who was really in control here still, the shot was you know, made toward Donald Trump. Grazed the ear, it was superficial, it wasn't actually meant to kill him, but the negative reptilians were behind this. And actually, one of our Army of Light members sent me a video where Sam the Illusionist has confirmed this, that this was negative reptilian based, kind of a walk-in situation for that person, and that shot was fired. I will also say that the reason why we had an interruption during the channeling for that video that ended kind of strangely was that it was made known to Melchizedek that the negative reptilians had done something in retaliation for our moves there around Joe Biden. They were angry about this, and they did something to get back. And it actually took Melchizedek away for about 2 days, about 48 hours. They said, we're going to take care of some things. Don't worry, we'll be back. They came back, and they wouldn't tell me what the negative reptilians had done in retaliation for that, but it seems like it was pretty awful. I could feel the tension there with Melchizedek in the field. But they just said, please don't worry about this. And they did tell me here a couple of days ago, it was worth it. Whatever the NRs had done to retaliate against, thwarting that plan, they said it was worth it to save Joe Biden's life and the downstream effects of that would have had on humanity. Okay. All right, moving on from that. By the way, I did do a post with a couple of paragraphs from Melchizedek on YouTube. So if it's not a video, it's just a posting, in case you missed it, the little write-up about what Melchizedek had to say about this assassination attempt on Donald Trump and how that tied into Joe Biden. Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, the Bible. Boy, I'm talking forever. I promise I'm going to get to Melchizedek's channeling from today. Guys, so I am getting ready for a house guest who I had for the last week. My friend Christar was here in town, and I was basically in the spare bedroom doing some dusting. My father collected boxes, like all kinds of boxes, old jewelry boxes, wooden boxes, just whatever. He just kind of loved boxes. And so I have a bunch of these boxes laying around. And actually, right on the center of the dresser that I got from my dad, which was my grandfather's dresser, was one of these boxes. And I just decided the other day before she got here to just kind of flip this open and see what's in here. I couldn't even remember. So I opened up this box, and it's actually a beautiful kind of a Victorian style jewelry box. And I open it up, and there's these antique razors, antique razors that my dad used to collect. My uncle collects these things, but all these antique razors all lined up perfectly. And I thought, that's really strange. I don't remember doing that. They're in their original boxes. These are straight razors, if you know what I'm talking about, with the big handles on them. Anyway, so I actually kind of took the time to look at these razors and going, why are these in here? And I get done and I move there's like probably 6 of these razors. I moved all them, and underneath this was this Bible. And I'm like, I had no idea this Bible was here. What is this? It took me by surprise, and I wasn't putting 2 and 2 together. And so I flip open this Bible, and it says here, to LMA, from Bill, date June 16, 1968. This was my grandfather to my grandmother, this Bible, dated 1968, and it is the Old and the New Testament. So I didn't even really know I had this in my possession, although I got a lot of things from my dad, and they're all kind of spread throughout, and I really don't remember seeing this Bible, and come to find out, Melchizedek says that they put that Bible there for me to find. And if you remember, in Mexico, I think I told you about this last year, all of a sudden they made my Bluetooth speaker appear out of nowhere, and also my little earbuds appear out of nowhere after looking everywhere for these 2 things. And these incidences were maybe 6 months apart. So the first time they did it with my speaker, I just couldn't believe it. And the second time, I'm like, okay, now I'm catching on. So this didn't surprise me a whole lot that Melchizedek put this Holy Bible in that box for me. I certainly don't recall doing it. and the way that it was all hidden under these razors and just perfectly sat in there like that. I don't even know. But anyway, this is the Bible that we're using. So Old and New Testament in here. I don't know what else you might want to know about this Bible, because this is going to be the Bible that we're going to be using. Copyright 1962. The Old and the New Testaments are derived from the Revised Standard Version of the Bible, copyright 1952 and 1946. Anyway, this is what I'm going to be using. All right. I think that's everything I wanted to go through 15 minutes later. Thanks for your patience and humoring me with all that information. Okay, here's what Melchizedek had to say about us moving into this new realm. The Holy Bible. The Great Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Jesus, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, the Apostles, Noah and the Ark, Moses and the burning bush, Jesus and the cross, even the concept of God. This book, in its many forms, has helped generations try to grasp the concepts of love, mutual respect, non-judgment, the basic tenets of what it means to be a quote-unquote good human being. Sin and Satan, heaven and hell, angels and fallen angels, Adam and Eve and the infamous serpent, plagues and trumpets, the second coming of Jesus, and the new Garden of Eden. We, as Melchizedek, played a significant role in the creation and dissemination of some of the original content of the Holy Bible. We walked with Jesus, dear ones. We worked alongside John the Apostle, or John of Patmos, to help paint a picture of the times we've now entered in what is now known as the Book of Revelation. We visited Moses, and over the course of several months, we brought words to help convey the most miraculous creation of planet Earth. In the simplest of terms, we tried to convey how life was formed here, and to also alert all of you to the concept of the serpent. Allegory, metaphors, at times puzzles and riddles, representative themes and concepts. We left much room for debate and interpretation. We, as the Order of Melchizedek, will do our best to bring forward to conscious awareness the important themes and information contained in the Bible with the true meaning as was intended all those years ago. We'll do this for the sections that we contributed and for parts of the text that did not originate with us. If a greater understanding is needed, we will do our best to relay that information as well. This dear channel, this dear Shawna, has been preparing for this moment for a very long time, many lifetimes in fact. We have sat down with this one in many incarnations and worked closely with her in spirit. She has been a scribe for us for millennia, dear ones. She has expertly and fearlessly brought forth our information and followed our guidance, even when it seemed counterintuitive or unimaginable or unbelievable. And she does this again in the here and the now. On her behalf, we invite you to have an open mind, to set aside your judgments of the information that she will bring forth. Some of this will be quite controversial, as many of you hold much of the concepts in this book close to your hearts and embedded into your belief systems. This will not be a race to see how quickly this text can be deconstructed and reimagined based on the information we will provide. Instead, we plan to take our time here, friends. We wish to build upon the concepts and meander a bit through the teachings. We appreciate your willingness to be patient with us, to be open to alternative interpretations. We cannot answer all questions that exist around the Bible, but we will do our best to bring you what we feel is most important for this modern age and where we sit now together at this level of consciousness. Some information in the current translations and interpretations in your holy Bibles of today have purposefully and meticulously been skewed, added, or even deleted to serve the goals and objectives of the negative reptilian order. Their influence on these books and some of the core messaging is present. A new understanding for these concepts is ready to be born through your consciousness, through each of you who hear these messages, to each who say yes to new possibilities for such information. We would like to start with Genesis. For reference, Shawna and Melchizedek will be using a Bible that has been published with both the Old and New Testaments. This text may have differences from the text that you're used to or that you may know intimately. We will do our best, dear ones, to provide accurate information and context for the more popular versions of the Bible in use today. We will conclude tonight's messages with an acknowledgement that so many of you have taken to heart the most meaningful and pure aspects of the teachings of the Bible. This is very special indeed and gives us a beautiful foundation from which to build. All right, guys. That was Melchizedek today, giving an introduction to the Bible series. Low power mode. Okay. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to go, but we did sit down and literally they just said, let's turn it to the opening pages. Let's look at Genesis. And I read it out loud while I was recording, and they would stop me every few paragraphs and talk to me about what was being said there and what was being intended. And oh my gosh, getting to the part with the tree of the knowledge of good and evil and Adam and Eve and the serpent, and oh my gosh, and just thinking, oh boy, we're going to just be getting into this stuff, and you know how the kind of the creation story of Adam and Eve, and anyway, we didn't get very far, but I was just kind of feeling like this is a big deal, you know. Thank God I've been preparing many lifetimes for this. Otherwise, there's no way I could stomach this. It's just this book is just so near and dear to so many people's hearts, and just such a foundation for most of the world. But here we are, guys. It's the last 1,000 years until we are ascended here to the 5D Earth, 5D humanity, and it's now time for these cryptic messages to come to light. And Melchizedek hasn't talked about this, but you know, my feeling here is that a lot of this was allegory, and a lot of it was a little bit more hidden because of the what the negative reptilians said about, hey, if you mess with humanity, if you come down and interfere with what we have going on, that we are going to retaliate for this, and it's not going to be pretty. Just stay out. So, you know, and the negative reptilians were around long before the Bible was written. Melchizedek did say to me when we were going through the Bible, Genesis, that serpent was indeed representative of the negative reptilian order. So there's a few things right there in case you were wondering. This is what Melchizedek has to say about this. And I also find it extremely interesting. Moses, you look at how did Moses get this information that's in Genesis? And well, it was from God. Well, in this case, Melchizedek is claiming that they were the ones to bring that information forward to Moses over several months. With the book of Revelation, John was banished to this Greek island called Patmos. I don't really know why. I didn't get that far in my research, but and there they Melchizedek sat with him, and gave him all of this book of Revelation. It's a massive body of work, and it's incredibly rich with detail and imagery and concepts, and things where we scratch our head like, what does this mean, and are we here now? I'm so very excited to talk about what all of this means in terms of the ascension and where we're at today, the context for these things. So and again, there's no way we're going to cover all the questions that could possibly be out there about the Bible, but we just need to trust that we're going to cover as much as we can. And certainly, if you have questions, put them in the comments or email them to me, and I'll make sure that I read through those, which means Melchizedek will get those questions. And you can always just in meditation reach out to Melchizedek yourself and talk about those questions that you may have for them about the Bible and about Scripture and all this. And boy, there's no shortage of questions, right? Yeah, same with, yeah. So I think we're in for an incredible journey with the Bible, and I think it's going to be so interesting. And I just love how we have the galactics here. We've got the angelic realm here. We have the metaphysical with them. We have our ascended masters with Jesus. It's like this full circle thing. Everybody coming together for this ascension process. This is really what this is all about. Let's keep the bigger picture in mind. Speaking of bigger picture, I told you I was going to tell you about one of my past lives that Melchizedek recently told me about when, they've been talking about, we're going to start talking about the Bible and Revelation, and we are the ones that wrote the book of Revelation through John. They were the angels that came through from Jesus Christ to John. So they've played many roles. I'm sure we'll get more information about this later, but they said, yes, we've worked many lifetimes together, Shawna. This isn't our first rodeo here, doing this kind of work together where we're blazing some new trails. They said that, there's a pattern and a way that we like to work together. And I said, well, is there anybody who I would recognize? And they said, yes. And it came through that I was Copernicus in a past life, working with Melchizedek to bring forth information that indeed the earth was not the center of the universe, but that the sun was our local, everything was revolving around the sun, and that the earth was moving around the sun in our local solar system. So this was extremely unpopular back in the day, like in 1500, I think he published a book in 15, I think I wrote this down, 1543, right before he died, he published this. And he actually was really a big part of the Catholic Church. He was devout and was going to be a leader in the church at some point, but he really decided to focus on science and math and technology and that kind of thing. So 1543, this man writes this book. Melchizedek says that actually it was a letter, it was a paper. Melchizedek said that they worked just tirelessly at night by candlelight as they brought forth these concepts to Copernicus, who then really was a laughingstock at the time. And heresy, is really like it was blasphemy, that how dare he say that the sun is actually the center of the solar system and not planet Earth. So this broke down a lot of barriers, and it took 150, 200 years before his teachings were accepted as truth. And actually, I read that the Catholic Church had banned his book, his writings, until 1835. 1835, so 300 years later. So and I actually really think of that not so much as a past life of mine, but that Copernicus was a co-aspect to my oversoul. So many aspects. These bodies that we're in, this incarnation, it's one aspect of our oversouls, And I just consider Copernicus as a co-aspect, but thought that was pretty fascinating. So here we are. I'm bringing forth all this information about the negative reptilians. We're creating a chorus here. There's many of us bringing this information forward. If you haven't checked out Stars and Anna Maria's channel, The Light Renegades, they're also, just like before with Queen Elizabeth, when I channeled Queen Elizabeth, Star was channeling Princess Diana at the same time. So now Spirit has aligned us once again. She's going to be talking about religion and the Bible and concepts from her perspective and her guides. The Angelic Council, Metatron, while I'll be doing so with Melchizedek. So it's just so nice to have her as a comrade and somebody who, we're here supporting each other with this information, knowing that it's going to raise a lot of hackles for people. All right, guys, Copernicus. Oh, I don't feel that smart in this lifetime. I'm just saying yes a lot to this. But again, I'm honored. I'm honored to do this. I'm ready for it. Lost a few pounds, gained one back. Hey, but I'm making some progress toward this losing this 20 pounds. I haven't really talked to my adult children about what's going on with all this latest stuff. I'm just really giving them some space. I send them a link to my video about possibly going to this other planet. So yeah, things are really, really nuts and really stretching my concept of what is real, what is reality, like letting go of this 3D illusion and instead trading it for wisdom here and allowing this beautiful, beautiful consciousness of Melchizedek to very much be present with me at all times, day and night, awaking, dreaming, all of it. And it's very special. Doing good, team. I'm grounded. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good, feeling empowered, feeling ready, feeling confident and excited. I hope you're all doing amazing. Thank you so much for all that you do to bring the light. Thank you for supporting me on this crazy journey, talking about this incredible stuff. And I know that we are the tip of the spear here, and that spear is in motion. It's in motion, team. We've got this. Okay, next week we'll talk about Genesis. I love you so much. Thanks again. I will see you soon. Mwah.